Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to a new video. So we are continuing on with the modifications for the F80 M3. And if you guys have been following me along on my journeys with my cars, you guys may know that I'm a little bit of an exhaust nut. I always love trying out as many different options as possible. The main reason why I do that is personally for myself, just to make sure I'm kind of going through all the options that I could possibly want to try, and also to create some validity to my opinion and to my videos so you guys understand, I'm not just putting on one type of exhaust and saying it's the greatest thing in the world. I like to try out as many different options as I possibly can to find that right note. And just so when people do ask me, because exhausts are very, very popular, I can say, hey, this one sounds like this, that one sounds like that, and be able to kind of help some people out and kind of steer them in the right direction to let them know exactly, which route they should go based on what they want. And the reason why I'm saying that is because we are starting on the exhaust of the F80 M3. We all know that the S55, the F80X, M3, M4 is not the best sounding M car ever. I personally think it sounds pretty good. It doesn't sound as bad as most people make it out to be. And I do believe in the competition, which this is, a 2018, it does sound better than the original 2015, like the base. With the competition muffler, I believe they reworked some things, so it does sound a little bit better. However, there is definitely room for some improvement. And one of the greatest things about the aftermarket world is that there's a lot of options to make this sound very, very good. And my main goal is to make people realize that the S55 does sound very good. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to start off on baby steps. I do have an exhaust coming. We are going to be taking the necessary steps, but we're going to take the baby steps that I normally do, go over each option so people can understand just, the little things that you can do to make it sound better without changing out your entire exhaust. Because obviously not everybody is the same. Not everybody wants to change out every piece of their exhaust to make it sound the certain way that they want. And like I mentioned, there is a ton of options out there to try out, to tweak the sound a little bit, get a little bit better sound just with a few things here and there. And that is what we're going to do. So this exhaust on the S55 motor, it is a valved exhaust. And what that actually means is there's actually a little flap in the muffler on both sides that opens and closes based on the RPM, based on the speed, based on the mode you're in, the driving mode. And there's a lot of different factors that come into play of what makes this sound a little funky. The great thing about this exhaust is when the valves are open, it does sound very good. The bad thing about it is BMW's kind of programming and coding for it is not the best in the world. Basically, the flaps open and closed, as I mentioned, based on RPM, the speed, the gear you're in, the driving mode, all of that. So as you're driving and kind of getting on the car, going through all different gears and everything, the flaps open and close. And I also did some research and kind of read up that the flaps actually don't open completely. They kind of half open on certain modes and everything. I'm going to throw in a small exhaust clip of the car starting with a complete cold start in just the normal efficient mode. Basically, if you don't press any buttons or anything, you just get in, start the car. You will hear when the car starts, it sounds really good, and then immediately it sounds like the exhaust is broken, it sounds like rattle, something is loose or broken. You will hear that in this clip right here. If you're able to tell, it really does sound like something broke or is broken as the car starts up. It sounds like a piece of metal or something broken and just rattling around. And what that actually is the flap, the valve closing. And when that actually happens, it quiets it down. It sounds pretty terrible in my opinion. And again, it sounds like something is broken. However, there is a little trick that I'll show you very quickly on how to start your F80 M3, the S55, with the exhaust completely open without any modification or anything like that. This is what I do every single time I start the car just because it sounds so much better. So I'm going to show you how to do that. All right, so we are in the car. In order to force the valves open on cold start, all you got to do is these couple little tricks. So what you're going to do is actually start the car just in accessory mode. Then you're going to go over to here, put it into Sport Plus. Then what you're going to do on the throttle is just blip it. You don't want to hold it down. And what that actually does is it forces the exhaust valves to stay open. I'll put a little clip here to show you exactly how it sounds when you start the car on a complete cold start with that little trick. So if you're able to tell in that little exhaust clip, it sounds way better, sounds way throatier, way more aggressive. It doesn't have that crazy exhaust broken sound. And that's just the way I do it every single time. It's not that bad, but obviously there's kind of a lot of steps to do it before you start the car. And it gets a little annoying when you just want to get up and go and you just don't want to hear that kind of broken noise. But that is what I've been doing when I start the car because it sounds way better. The only bad part about that is once you start driving off, the exhaust valves go back to the normal BMW programming, and it opens and closes based on, your driving mode and everything. So in order to remedy that, I want to be able to open and close the valves at my leisure. I want to be able to press a button and keep them open. I want to press a button and keep them closed. And there's actually a couple companies out there that are able to do that. And I have 2 of them on my workbench right now. So there's 2 right here. We actually have the Daler valve control solution here. And we also have the Berger Motorsports Tuning, the BMS valve controller, the cam flap. We're actually going to be installing this one in this video. In another video, I'll install this so you guys can see both options. But this is the one that I got from Berger Motorsports. This is a very, very simple solution. As you can see, this is all you get. No instructions, no box, no nothing. This is as simple as it gets. You can see there's an OBD2 connection, and this little box right here is where all the cool stuff is. So all you got to do is simply plug this into your OBD2, and you get some really cool features. So before we plug this in, I'll show you everything. Let's go over all the features and just let you know how many cool things this little thing actually does. Controlling your valves is obviously the coolest part about it. You can open or close with the press of a button on the actual stock in the car. There's no extra buttons, no extra controllers, no remotes, anything. It's all functioned through the factory stock. I'll show you the button and everything in a little bit, but all you do is plug it in and you're able to open and close based on your personal preference. For me, I probably keep them open at all times, unless I'm starting the car very early in the morning or something, or I'm just cruising on the highway, then I'll close them. But for 99% of the time, they're gonna be open. But also, the BMS can flap module actually allows you to do a few other things. This also actually provides the option to turn off active sound. If you don't know what active sound is, these cars actually pump some of the exhaust sound through the speakers into the cabin, so you get a little bit more visceral experience. You can turn that off if you don't want it. It doesn't really bother me, but you do have the option to turn it on or off. And there is a little bit of a sound change overall in the cabin. It's not as loud, it's a little bit more quiet. The fake sound, if you want to call it, isn't pumped through the speakers. I know a lot of people don't like that option. Me personally, like I mentioned, it's not the biggest thing in the world, but this BMS can flap module allows you to turn that on or off based on your own preference. Another really cool option that the BMS can flap module has is to be able to turn the daytime running lights on full brightness all the time. So when you are actually driving with your headlights on, the daytime running lights, which are these rings right here, they actually dim a little bit when the headlights are on. And then when you turn them off and it's just, has the daytime running light on, they get brighter. And the module over there actually allows you to keep the brightness of the daytime running lights on at all times. Really cool. I like that option. Believe it or not, it provides a little bit more extra light on the road in the dark. I believe the dimming of the daytime running lights is only in the US for certain restrictions and all that, because you can only have so much light on a car at once. So they actually do that only on the US versions. I believe in Europe, it doesn't dim or anything like that. But now that I have the option, I'm going to keep them on full brightness because I think it looks way better and it provides a little bit extra light. 2 more options that this provides is actually a boost gauge, which is pretty cool. This is something they actually integrated into the fuel gauge. So it works from 0 to 20 PSI and it doesn't kick on until 5 PSI. So when you're driving and you reach over 5 PSI, you actually see the fuel gauge move around based on your boost levels. So pretty cool little feature. You can turn that on or off. Then once you're off boost, the gas gauge goes back to where your gas level is. But I thought that was a cool little thing. Again, you can turn that on or off very simply. I thought that was a cool little feature that the cam flap module provides. Believe it or not, there is one more option that this thing provides, and that is to be able to clear codes. So if you got a code on the car and you wanted to clear it, you're able to do that with that. You go to the certain selection and the certain map and you actually turn them off and you can clear all the codes, which is really cool. Obviously, I suggest reading the codes properly, getting the car fixed. You don't want to just clear codes, but it does have that option. I thought that was really nice and really cool. And also this right here, anytime they come out with a new feature, a new option, you can actually load it onto here. So it's not like once you buy it, that is all you get. Anytime they make an update or anything like that, you can load it right onto this and then use it on your car, which I thought was a pretty cool option. All right, I know that was a lot of explanation. I know you guys just want to see this thing in action, so let's get to installing it. I just wanted to explain all the details first, but let's go ahead, hop in the car, plug this in, and I'll show you how everything works. So we're in the driver footwell area. The clutch is right here. And if you look in this corner by the trunk button, you'll find the OBD2 connection right there. So all we're going to do is simply take the BMS connector, the OBD2 side, and plug that right in. And for anybody that is curious, the angled side is the one that goes towards the clutch pedal. The wider side goes towards the side right here. I know it can be a little confusing which way it goes and it's kind of hard to see, so I figured I would point that out. For a super clean install, what I did was plug it into the OBD2 and then I wrapped it around. You can see on this, you see this little plastic piece that bends back. I just wrapped it behind that little tab, brought it through the footwell, down through the little side sill right here. I just tucked it up under, and then there's a little pocket kind of opening right here by the seat, and you can put it right into the carpet. So it's all tucked away, and the only thing showing is the little end right there. Obviously you can tuck it in more, but that's kind of where it's sitting comfortably. So I'm going to put my seat back so it's not getting in the way of the seat or anything like that, and honestly you won't be able to see that, so you can probably tuck it in a little bit more, but I just wanted to leave it there and show you guys exactly how I tucked it in so you can't even see it at all. All right, so we got it installed, kind of got it tucked away nice and neat. So now let me show you exactly how to use it. So if you look right here, this stalk right here, which is your blinker, you can see the BC button up here. This is what's going to control everything. So you're not adding any controllers, any remotes or anything like that. It's as simple as just using what's already there. So let me go ahead, start up the car. So say if I wanted to start the car and I wanted the exhaust valves closed. Right now they are open. All I'm going to do is go over here and hold it, and you will actually see the blinker on the right turn on. What that actually means is it's closed. The right blinker means off, left blinker means on. So in this case, right means closed, left means open. So right now it's closed. You may be able to actually even hear it. So to open them, all I'm going to simply do is press the button. As you're able to see, the left blinker turned on, and you may have been able to hear the valves actually opening. So if you want to close it, same thing, just hold it for a second. Closed, hold again for a second, open. So now I have the ability to open and close them, and it's not going to open and close based on RPM and all that. They're just simply going to stay open 100% of the time, or if you have them closed, they're going to stay closed 100% of the time. So what I'm going to do now is actually try to get you a shot of the valves actually opening and closing inside the muffler so you can see what's actually happening. All right, so just for reference, if you see that little piece of metal right there, that is the actual flap. It is open right now, so I'm going to go ahead and close it and show you what it looks like. So as you just saw there, the flap closing. I'll go ahead and open it again so you guys can see. So there you go. Now the valve is open 100% of the time. Now let's go back in the car and show you the other features. So now let's get into the menu part of this entire thing. So let's hold down the BC, and then you'll see both blinkers flash and go into ready. So right now we're in the menu mode. So if we hit it one more time, as you can see, it goes to the 1. We are in menu 1. That is active sound. So as you can see, I have active sound turned off. Left means off, right means on. So when the valves are open, active sound is off. We go up to menu 2, you will see active sound, same thing. That is when the valves are closed in OEM operation, you can turn active sound completely off. So if I hold it for a second, you'll see that it went to the left blinker, and that means active sound is off for the OEM operation and when the valves are closed. So right now I have active sound turned off completely. So let's go ahead and go back into the menu. All right, so if we go up to menu 3, 3 is for the boost gauge. So the fuel gauge right there will actually be your boost gauge. So it's pretty cool when you're driving. I won't be able to show you that right now, but I have it on. So when I'm driving and it hits over 5 PSI, you will see the boost gauge go down to 0 and kind of go up as you drive and add more boost. Pretty cool. As I mentioned, the left blinker means it's on. If you hold the button a little bit longer, it goes on the right blinker. That means it is off. So right now I have it on. Now, if we press the button one more time, we'll go into menu 4. This is for the code deletes. So as I mentioned, you can delete codes by doing this. And what you got to do again is just hold it down for the left blinker to clear the codes. I don't have any codes, so I don't need to worry about that, but that is how you get there. And then finally, menu 5. So we go into 5 right here. This is for the full brightness of the daytime rain lights. So as you can see, left blinker, I have them on full brightness. If I want to turn them off, I just hold this button and it goes over to the right blinker, and it means it's back to the OEM operation. So now that I got my settings all set up the way that I want it, let's head out for a little drive and show you a little bit of how much better this thing actually sounds. Alright guys, so there you go. There is the Burger Motorsports valve controller, the can flat module. Absolutely love it. Super easy to use. I love all the other features that it provides. You know, it's not just a valve controller. There's other really cool things you can do with it. And as I mentioned, anytime there's any updates or anything new, all you got to do is load it up onto the module and you got even more options with this thing. Super simple install. Obviously it didn't get dirty. You just plug it in and that is it. And as you guys were able to tell and hear, huge difference overall when the valves are closed and open. Closed sounds pretty terrible. Open sounds pretty amazing. And that's the complete stock exhaust. There's nothing changed yet. I have an exhaust coming, so it's going to change drastically and change for the better. But I wanted to at least try this out. And the really cool thing about this is obviously if you get any aftermarket exhausts with a valve, you can do the same exact thing. You can control it the exact same way. So you kind of get the best of both worlds. You get an aftermarket exhaust, but you still have the functionality of opening and closing the valves at your leisure with the press of a button. So very, very happy with the overall product. So for the price that I got it, which was 270 bucks or so at the time it was on sale, not bad at all. And you get all the functionality and options from that thing. I'm very, very happy with it. All right, there you go, guys. A pretty big result for a very, very small modification. I cannot wait to dive more into the F80 exhaust. It's going to sound incredible once I get my hands on it. And I'm really looking forward to kind of showing you guys all the options that I'm considering and just playing around with the S55 because I think it's a fantastic sounding motor when you use the correct parts. If you guys have any questions at all, be sure to ask them below. In the meantime, keep it clean, keep it simple, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.